All right. What is up, y'all? Looks like my audio is good. Hopefully the video is good. Just give it a few seconds here. Let some people join up, then we'll hop right into it. Is it really lagging this far behind is the question. All right. What's up, Waseek, GH? How you guys doing? Thank you for letting me know about the audio. All right. So let's get into it, y'all. Joe, what's up, bro? Let's just get into it. We'll just start going through the charts. We'll start talking about Ethereum versus USD and versus Bitcoin. And then we'll also touch briefly on Bitcoin itself because it matters. And we'll touch on the dollar and we'll also touch on equities. Lots to go over. But yeah, very excited to be covering all of this with y'all. Hold on one sec. What do you want? Video resolution. Not optimal. I don't know what the fuck that means. Keep saying this. If anyone knows what that means, let me know. Feel free to DM me and give me a tip in terms of how I can make my stream resolution optimal, because I don't fucking know. I'm not very good with tech. The Roth, what's up, bro? Okay, so let's start with Ethereum USD. Then we'll talk about Ethereum Bitcoin. We'll talk about Bitcoin itself. We'll talk about the stock market, the dollar index, because they're all kind of tied together at this point. So yeah, so if you have any questions in terms of how I have these charts marked up, where these levels come from, things like that, go back and watch the previous streams. I've done, I think this is the fourth one of these. It might be the third. I'm pretty sure it's the fourth. So starting early September, they're all on YouTube there. And you can see where I drew all these levels, because I'm not going to mark up the chart fresh every single time. The idea here is you guys know where these levels come from. So, overall, the levels that we're focusing on, obviously we had the high time frame rejection here, from this kind of consolidation in here. I believe there's a weekly order block here. Yeah. So high time frame rejection from this weekly order block, that's what capped the market, right? Key area here. If you take this area further back, you can see also, right, it lines up with that area there. So obviously a key area that capped the market. So once we saw that cap the market, we saw this move down and we broke below this low, right? That is our trigger to start looking to short moves up, because we've had a bearish break in market structure. So that was our trigger to get short here. And if you remember, I ended up cutting the short and then re-shorting here. So I shorted the essential top with you guys of this move. Not saying this is the top forever, but this move for now, we shorted near the top on this stream. Everything was laid out for you, stop placement, everything. We also talked about a low time frame entry, right? When we saw that close happen like that, right? When we saw that close happen, we talked about a low time frame entry, right? So once you saw that SFP on the high time frame, you zoom in, there's a break in market structure, there's a break in market structure. We're looking to sell rallies, right, on the low time frame. So this break in market structure, retrace to the order block that sent market structure down and sell it, 70.5 retracement, is a fractal of exactly what we just did on the H12, right? We had our top, We have the order block that sent us down, broke market structure. You're selling that, return to that order block. That retracement. This did not retrace as deep. This is only about a 50% retracement. Not even. Less. No, never mind. About 50%. But same concept, exact same concept. It's a fractal. Ultimately, what we've been targeting is this 290 level. So the 290 level is from over here, right? This key area here. So I've been looking at this area for a while now, and this is an area where I would love to look for swing longs on Ethereum. Obviously, we could go lower, right? So if we trade below this 290 level, I'm targeting another $40 or $50 move down into this area here, okay? And then ultimately, potentially much uglier would be, way back down into, where is this level? I think this might be a monthly even. Way back down into there. That's worst case scenario. All the way back here and then up would be worst case scenario. Because remember, even a retrace down to this order block is right in the sweet spot. So this is completely possible. But ideally, the uber bullish scenario, right? The uber bull scenario, right, is a shallow pullback. So 50% would be around 282, give or take 290. A deep pullback would be about 240, right? And then obviously uber bear is right back towards 200. Not uber bear, but the uber deep pullback. So I still like the 290 area. Now, can we go up here on Bitcoin? Absolutely. I do like that we are seeing, we saw kind of a gap up on stocks, and we also recovered a key, this is Ethereum, sorry. We recovered a key level here on the SPX, right? So we basically had a big old swing failure pattern, right, to end last week, closed as kind of like a pin bar. SFP'd the low, and then we rocketed up on Friday. Pretty bullish day, and now we're trading within this order block, right? So if we're able to push up here on SPX towards here, I think Ethereum and Bitcoin could both go higher. And I talked about on my Twitter that I thought Bitcoin could go as high as maybe 11.6, but then still go down and fill that CME gap. So, ultimately, I'm still aiming towards downside on Ethereum. I do still think that we test this level, and I do still think that Bitcoin probably sees sub 10K. But it doesn't mean that we can't go up, right, and then down first. So what I did yesterday, not yesterday, what I did on Friday, right, is when we came into this consolidation here, and I posted this on Twitter, I scaled off some of my short. So as you can see, we came in here, found support. I'm marking this kind of loosey-goosey, but I'm just marking the consolidation here that led to this move up, right? Wicked into it here. When we came in here and we closed this candle bullish like that, I took some of my short off. So to me, to capture a 10+% move, even without leverage, is great, right? So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm still holding a portion. I'm still holding about 50% of my short. But I took off a portion once we had that reaction from this consolidation here. I do ultimately think we will come down here, but we can come up here, push higher up into here, and then come all the way back down, right? Or come up here and reject again. But in reality, if we do get some bullish PA on Bitcoin, and then consequently on Ethereum, on stocks, etc., I don't expect this to hold. So if we come up and test the gray again, I expect us to go higher, and then I'll look to short it higher. Or we just roll over from here, right? Maybe we come up a little bit and we roll over from here. But I don't expect a third test here to reject. If we get another move up to the gray, short. I expect to go higher. So right now, I'm kind of leaning neutral / bullish here. Depending on what the stock market does, right? It's Sunday, market's just open. I want to see what Monday's price action looks like before I start making any crazy decisions. The nice thing about, what I'm doing here for you guys is I'm trading, this is the 12-hour chart, right? So by end of day tomorrow, we only have 2 more 12-hour candles. But we could see a lot of things happen on the index, on the dollar index, on stock market, things like that, and then kind of make some decisions. But ultimately, I'm still holding a portion of my short for here, and I am prepared to add or short again if we get a break up here, or if we come down, and show some bearish market structure here. So I'll zoom in a little bit. So if we come down and lose, I don't know why I keep trying to draw straight lines when I clearly can't. Let's say we come down here. This would be a compounding situation or a new short if I wasn't already in a short, right? So could we come up and run this level? Absolutely. Could we come up and run this high into this level, right? And then still break down? Absolutely. So that would be something I would watch. If we get some upward momentum across the board, perhaps we see this high get run into this order block here as a short, or we just reject from this order block here. Alternatively, if we just start to roll, if we get back below this level here, okay, so this is the level that was capping the market, flipped it, we moved up. So if this was an area to buy, right, support, buy, if we flip it, I'll look to sell that, right? That's a sell to me. Alternatively, if you want to dial it in even lower, right, there's a little breaker here. So this up candle before the down move that took out all these lows, right? Look at that. This is a textbook ICT breaker entry, right? So up candle causes a down move that took out low, took out lows, took out lows. We nuke through it, we retest it, and then we move up. So how do you trade this on the bull side, right? Is you would actually enter along here and your stop would go just below the breaker, right? And just into here maybe, right? You've got yourself a 2R trade there, minimum. And I have a thread, or I have an infographic on my Twitter. If you just search my feed, search breaker, I have an infographic where I explain this exact concept here. But that being said, so perfect breaker long entry there. But if we get back below this breaker, I think you look to short it down into here. And again, if we lose 290, I am looking for bullishness here, but if we lose 290, you short this down towards like 240. All right. What is the bull scenario? I guess the bull scenario for me would be getting above the gray. If we get above the gray, I think you've got yourself at least a long into one of these two levels. It doesn't look like that much room, but there is a nice move here, right? If we see bullishness here, there's a 5% move into that level, right? And then we obviously could have potentially a 10% move up into that level. So if we can flip the gray, flip this consolidation here, I think you can look to long into those two levels. But for now, I'm still leaning short biased on this overall. Still expecting this 290 level to get tagged, but wouldn't be surprised if we see a move up first. So hopefully that's super clear for you guys. Took some of my short off here, pretty happy with it. Still holding 50%. Gonna see how kind of today and going into Monday's price action susses out before I decide what I'm looking at from a kind of, am I cutting this position? Am I looking to add? Am I remaining with my bear bias? Am I flipping bull? Yada yada yada. The week is young. But I still do ultimately think we come and tag this level. And the main reason I think that is because I'm still super bullish on the dollar index. So I've been posting this dollar index chart, if you followed my metals with mainstream, for like 2 months. I've been posting about the dollar bottoming here, calling this out, right? Everyone on crypto Twitter now is talking about the dollar correlation, the equities correlation. I'm not saying I started that by any means. Everyone is talking about it now. It's a very popular topic. And the reason it is a very popular topic is because the correlation is extremely strong right now. Bitcoin has essentially become and I've talked about this for months. I was talking about this 6 months ago, Bitcoin being a risk asset. When we saw that COVID dump, I talked about Bitcoin being a risk asset, and it's just going to follow what the stock market does. Where I went wrong is I thought the stock market was, after doing that V bottom, I thought it was going to drop again. So I was predicting another drop on Bitcoin, but the stock market just kept going up. But idea that Bitcoin is a risk asset, just higher beta, more volatile, is something I've been talking about for a long time. And there's a reason everyone is looking at the SPX chart, the dollar, etc., and Bitcoin now. It's because the correlation is extremely high. Bitcoin is essentially just a mirror image of the stock market. If the stock market is pumping, Bitcoin's pumping. And that being said, if the dollar is bullish, right, we're going to see retracements in things like gold, things like silver, things like the stock market, things like Bitcoin and crypto, and the dollar is bullish. We've clearly formed a bottom here now, right? We had the 3 drives. That was our initial prediction. Okay, bottom forming. Once we broke this level, boom, okay, we held in here, right? That was the higher low I was talking about. I want to see a higher low here. Go watch my Metals with Mainstream, my previous ETH streams. We talked about this. Wanted to see a higher low form here. That is now confirmed because we've now made a higher high. So I expected this to be the first area of interest. Again, all posted on Twitter and in previous streams. Now what I'm expecting is a slight pullback and continuation. So I'm expecting the dollar to trade towards 96. And, the timing, I think, lines up very well with a lot of volatility and just kind of tumultuous affairs in terms of just market because of the election coming up, right? We have our first presidential debate on Tuesday. We have the election a little over a month away. So I think October is going to be exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of volatility, but I am bullish on the dollar going in to the month of October. For the next 3 to 4 weeks, I am bullish on the dollar. Any sort of pullbacks, I think, are going to correspond with longs, right? And what have we talked about in previous streams, right? If I'm bullish on the dollar and I see a pullback on the dollar and then the dollar is at support, what do I want to be doing, right? I want to be shorting things like Bitcoin, Euro USD, GBP USD at resistance, right? So that's kind of my thoughts on the dollar. I'm still bullish on the dollar, and this bullishness on the dollar is what ultimately also drives me to think that as much as we might be going up right now on Ethereum, might see a little pullback on the dollar. Once this finds support, I think Ethereum continues to go down. Okay? Right? And if this rejects here, right? So boom, into there. Boom, we're right in there. What again? What am I doing? Okay, coming into resistance here. Could be forming a range here, but ultimately I'm leaning on this with dollar continued strength, right? And if we get below here, the next level I have is 3180. That's pretty damn close. Look at where my line ended right there, right? So 3180, right? So this is our key level here going into all-time high, as you can see, right? So came in. Once we broke this level, boom, retest, launched. There's another touch. Broke down. Perfect retest there, right? Again, broke above, deviated below, sold off, rejected. Once back above, support. So this is a key level for me. So ultimately, I do think we are pulling back here, or ideally, we pull back from here. Right? Dollar strength, right? Pull back from here. If we lose this lower gray box, 3180, that's kind of my thoughts. Bearish on stock market, bearish on crypto, bearish or sideways, right? Sideways down is kind of directional, I guess. And then, upwards on the dollar going into October. So thinking that's what we see there. Thinking we see, God, this is messy, hey? But thinking we see, continuation towards 96 on the dollar, ultimately taking us to 290 on Ethereum. On Bitcoin, I posted this. I said, oh, I'm bullish now. Everything is relative. I'm still bearish on Bitcoin. I do think we could come up to here and then still go down. Right? Could come all the way up to here and then still go down. But more likely, I just kind of was looking on the lower time frame. I said, okay, well, what do we have here? We've got an untested level here. Untested level right here on Bitcoin. And we have essentially equal highs right here. Right? Very deep pullback. But right into about the 7.9 retracement, right? So I mean, Bitcoin, I think rejects soon, but I would love to see it move up above these equal highs, stab up in there, and then sell off. Ethereum, Bitcoin here. I don't even know what we're looking at here. Ultimately, again, I think this is a higher low, right? Situation. Low, high, higher low, higher high. I'm expecting a higher low. Worst case scenario, way down here. Ideally, well before then, though. We're kind of in an interesting area here. I don't think we want to get back below here, or that opens up the door for a much larger retrace. So, this move here is relatively thin, right? So it's, two massive green weekly candles. So, that could get filled in back up into here. But I think if we can hold this previous high as support, this is going to kind of consolidate sideways, maybe slightly down before continuation. I am ultimately thinking that, the bottom is in here. And what we're forming here is now the beginning of bullish price action. A low, a high, a higher low, a higher high. Now the question is, does the higher low come in here? Super bullish, or does it come much deeper? Right? So again, you pull out your trusty fib. You take it from there to there, right? We could come very deep, and this is going to line up perfectly with that monthly order block. See, right there. Don't ideally want it to come that low, but again, possible super bullish situation, right? Remember what I've talked about, 0.382 is usually a very bullish continuation, shallow pullback that lines up almost perfectly with that previous high there. So, I'm not trading this chart specifically. I'm trading Ethereum USD. That's what I trade on Prime XBT. And that's what I also trade mostly with spot. I'm transferring Tether to Ethereum and back and forth, but you do want to be aware of this chart because this is Ethereum relative to the strength of Bitcoin. But again, similar thoughts to the Ethereum dollar chart. I do think the bottom is in, and I do think what we're seeing here is a higher low, right? The question is the higher low here or is it much lower? So watching this level here, 31,834, round it off if you want, 800. This previous top, essentially want to see that hold as support. This 0.382 hold as support for continuation. Otherwise, I think it's much more likely that we come down a lot deeper. So, if Bitcoin is going to nuke and go fill that gap at 9,600, which is $1,000 lower than we are now, we could see a deeper pullback here. But start of the week, potential pullback on the dollar, right? There's a little pin bar. Potential pullback on the dollar might lead to that little push that we're talking about on Bitcoin here, and that little push we're talking about on Ethereum. But whatever these up moves lead to, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever the up moves lead to, I'm short biased looking to sell those towards much lower because I'm super bullish on the dollar going into the month and for the month of October. So is that super clear? Man, the timing is kind of shitty for Europe people here. It's 2 a.m. here. I understand. Let me, I leave these videos on YouTube. I know everyone's not going to be able to watch it live. I could potentially try and do these earlier in the day. The reason I like doing them at 8 p.m. Eastern is the markets are open, so we can kind of start seeing what the price action is shaping up with to start the week. I might be open to changing the time, so it's better for people in Europe. I understand 2 a.m. is obviously super late, especially on a school night. Maybe leave me some suggestions. How about everyone leaves me some suggestions on what might be better time? Where I live, it's 5:30 p.m. right now. So doing it earlier is definitely possible. The reason I picked this time is it's just the markets are open. But if we want to do it earlier, so some of you Europe guys can watch this before bed, I'm open to that. Maybe if you guys just want to leave a comment on the video about what time you would rather see this done so more people can watch, I'm more than happy to be flexible and try and accommodate as many people as possible, because the end goal here is to just give you guys a little bit of information, a little bit of a directional bias going into the week so you can go out there and crush it. Let's just quickly recap everything here. So Ethereum, Bitcoin, thinking both might get a slight push, right? So the dollar, if it's retracing here, God, I wish I didn't have all those ugly lines. Let's see. There we go. Oh, here we go. We're going back in time like Doctor Strange right now. I can sense it. I can sense it. There we go. All right. Okay. So the dollar, right? If we see a pullback here to start the week, again, any sort of pullback on the dollar, look for it to find support, right? And then look to short Bitcoin, Ethereum. And so dollar pullback to support, look to short EU, GU, gold, silver, crypto at resistance, okay? Major key here. We're super bullish on the dollar. Why wouldn't you be? This is an altcoin. If this is an altcoin, this is bottomed. You're looking to long the shit out of this, right? So we're bullish on the dollar for the month of October. So what we want to do is look for this to pull back to support. Where will it pull back to is the question, right? So we have this area here. Okay. That seems like a potential pullback spot. The shallowest pullback is right where it is now, right? So if this thing just turns around, right? So look at that 0.382. It's basically this high. So if we just pull back from here and we just start going up, right? Everything's going to roll. But if we get a bit of a deeper pullback into here, right? Here's the order block. Here's the order block here that caused this move up, right? This is a potential area. So if we see the dollar come back into here and then find support, right? We want to do this. Short all of these, okay? Looking a little lower, right? We could see this little fair value gap get run here between here and here, right into this order block. That seems like a potential nice area to me for this to come. Little deeper, start the week, a little bit of a pullback. Everyone gets bullish on everything, right? And then this continues to rip because we are going to 96, okay? We're going to 96 on the dollar within the month of October. I guarantee it. And if I'm wrong, fuck, too bad. But I won't be. I'm going to be right. So any sort of pullback, right? Everyone gets bullish. Maybe this gives us that little push on Bitcoin to 11K. Maybe this is it. Maybe we don't run these highs, right? Again, this could be it. The pullback could be done. But ideally, pull back to here, a little bit higher on Bitcoin, short it, a little bit higher on Ethereum, short it all. So Hopefully that's super clear, giving you guys some potential entries and exits as well. Again, I'll just quickly go over those. So Ethereum, right? If we break below the breaker here, right? So if we come down here below this breaker, that's a short op into 290. Okay. And you might be like, well, man, why don't I short it here? You're missing out on 5%, right? But you might be wrong here. Under this breaker, your probability of being right is way higher, and you're going to catch a 10 to 15% move. So pull back on Ethereum below this breaker, short it towards 290. If we can trade above the gray consolidation, I'll look to get long towards kind of 420. Above here, right? Above here. Above these highs, above this, long it towards 420, right? Right into here. Right into there. Okay, short here, long there. We could see a move up into here, which is another short opportunity. This one you'd be a lot closer to invalidation as well. Okay, Bitcoin. I'm not in an active Bitcoin position, but ultimately, if the dollar pulls back like I talked about, this is where I think it's going. Up into that untested level here, right? Taking out these equal highs. Okay, and then that is a potential short on Bitcoin. Alternatively, on Bitcoin, right? If we get a big pullback on the dollar, ultimately, I think Bitcoin could have a big retracement towards here. And I would look to short this. Right? Why not? Why not? Broken market structure. There's the order block that drove us down. Pull back right into the 79% retracement. The level is untested. Short the shit out of that into here. So, right? If we start trading above this, we're going to 14K. So why not take a potential short for a $2,000 move? And if we're going up, you flip bull and you got a fucking $3,000 move the other way. All right. Theta is pumping. Yeah, leave some comments. I mean, I'm happy to be flexible, guys. Theta is pumping. Let's take a quick look at Theta. Damn. Okay. So I wouldn't buy this now. You miss the boat on this one. Like if you're not already in this, you miss the boat. This is going straight up vertical. This looks like the Tesla stock chart. Let's see here. Low time frame. That could be the top there. This is the 15-minute chart. Be aware, right? But that could be the top here. 3 drives, boom, 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 right? If it breaks below here, that's the top. And I don't mean it's going to 0. I just mean that's going to be a temporary top, back into, here and a potential area to buy, right? So if I'm looking at this on the weekly, I'm not touching it. If I'm looking at it on the 3-day, I'm absolutely not touching it. Here's an area where I'd touch it. You can see already, right? It consolidated at that previous high. If I'm looking at the daily, again, I'm not touching it, but you can see an order block here. This is the type of retracement you want to buy if this thing's going to continue to go up. Right? Let's keep going down. H12, potential area here, right? So if this is going to continue to charge up, that is where you buy it on the H12, right? So, and it could just come down and wick. Look at this, right? Came down, wicked into that previous high, launched again. Right, so H4, this is the area to watch for a pullback, for potential continuation. If it loses this H4 block, it's coming all the way down here. And that's a big move, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so if it loses that area there, it's coming all the way down here. And just going in even lower time frame, looking at the 30-minute, we're potentially looking like a potential 3 drives is playing out. This is the inverse of that dollar index chart I showed you guys, right? 3 drives there, momentum slowing, rising wedge potential. So if it loses this level here, right? So this is the order block that caused that last move up. We've got an SFP. This is the order block that caused that last move up. This is a breaker, right? So the order block that caused the run of the high, if we trade back below that, that's a short entry. I don't know where you can short this. I guess on Binance. I don't trade this coin, never have. Potential short there, but ultimately, that is the kind of setup on the low time frame that would take you down into this potential buy the dip area on the 4 hour, right? But and I mean there's where you're coming here, coming right into there. So that could be a nice short entry here on Theta here after this, kind of 3 drives pattern. If it breaks below here, you short that into here. And then you see if you find bullishness here. Because if you don't, this thing has a long way that it can unwind, right? This could unwind all the way down to here. So you want to see if there's bullishness here, right? Because this could be the start of a top, right? Like here. You lose this, where do you think it's going? You lose that area on the 8 hour, it's going down here. So quick thoughts on Theta. Again, never traded this coin, so take that with a grain of salt. SXP. Oops. Guys like my watch? SXP. God. So on the weekly, what's your bullish argument here? This, right? Big SFP. 3-day, what is this? This is now a bullish order block on the 3-day. Daily, right? The daily. Where's my trend line? Right? Daily, not quite. If we can get a daily close above this high, right, that'd be a break in market structure. So what we're looking at right now, right, is a SFP into a daily bearish order block, right? So this is a bearish order block here, right? Up candle, drove the market lower, took out some lows. Okay, and we've now formed a bottom here, right? Weekly SFP, but now we have a daily SFP into a bearish order block. So if the next day's trading, right, if today's trading starts trading below this level, I'm expecting us to pull back towards that SFP level here. Here, okay? I'll show you on a lower time frame, right? So if we start trading today and we stay below this 1.685 level, I'm expecting us to trade down into here, this consolidation, and into that SFP level here. Okay, if we can get a daily close through this level, that would be a bullish break in market structure. Then we'd have a low, a high, and then what are we looking to do? We're looking to buy a higher low. Okay, so potential bullishness forming here. Still a little too early to tell. Still a little too early to tell. I would want to see how this next day closes, right? Because if this closes as an SFP, right, we're going back into here. But you could probably look to long here, right? I wouldn't long this here. I would long it here on a pullback into this area, or I would long on a break above here, a break above this kind of 180 level, right? Ideal situation, if you're bullish on this coin, is we get a daily close through here, okay? And then you buy a dip into here, right? You buy a dip into this daily order block here. 3-day order block, right? So if we go down here, where would that dip go? Pull your fib, low to high, zoom in a little more, right into this area. Daily close through there, confirm the break in market structure, long a dip around here, 130, and target probably $2, right? Target here would be my guess if this is going to be bullish. Is an order block and breaker the same thing? So a breaker is a type of order block, okay? And so if you go on my Twitter here and you search, one sec here. So if you go into my Twitter and you type in hashtag TraderMain TM TA tips, I did this ages ago, 2 years ago. I did a little infographic here on what a breaker is. So this is an ICT concept. So a bullish breaker is bullish, a bearish breaker is bearish. The only difference is everything would be inverse. So instead of taking out lows, it'd be taking out highs. You'd be selling a retrace instead of buying it. But you have a swing low form, okay? You have an order block, right, that sells that, an order block that takes out those lows, right? So when price comes up into here, this is a bearish order block right now, right? We have bearish market structure. So if price rejects here, that's an opportunity to sell, right? Bearish order block. It becomes a breaker, right? Bearish order block is formed when we nuke through it, right? So when you see the lows get taken and then we nuke through the level there, you come back and you buy that retest, stop below the block, and you see the reaction, target old highs, right? So a bearish order block would be the exact opposite. So on Ethereum, we had that exact situation just happen here, okay? So we had a bearish order block here, okay? Formed. We took out a low. We nuked through it. We retested it. You can buy that. Stop below. It's exactly what I've marked out here. And it's not going to look picture perfect every time. The more time you spend looking at this stuff in the charts, the more clear it becomes. So a breaker is when that happens, right? An order block is similar. A breaker is a type of order block. Where is an easy way to describe this? Well, here's another quick breaker example for you. Okay, here's a bearish breaker right here. Okay. Down candle that caused an up move that took out a high. Nuke through it, you sell the retest. Stop above. Okay. An order block is just this. An order block is a down candle before an up move, or an up candle before a down move that you then buy a retrace or resell of. So here is a bearish order block. Okay. Up candle before a down move that took out lows. Right, took out all these lows here. You sell the retest with your stop above, right? This could have become a breaker. If we went like this and then price nuke through, this is now a potential breaker. You wait for the retest and you buy it. Okay, and if you go to my Twitter, I have tons of examples of this. And if you go to my YouTube, I have tons of old videos where I cover this stuff as well. So they're definitely worth perusing some of our where I go over this in old videos. I think there's a video April 9th, 2018. It's a two-parter where I go in depth into order blocks. That YouTube resolution pop-up is just angry that you aren't using standard aspect ratio. You can read up on this topic. Try changing your stream resolution to 1600, 900 in private stream, or ignore it. Okay, I'll try that. Thank you. Are there any DeFi altcoins that are catching your attention? So I will admit that I am a boomer. I did not really get in on the DeFi game. I had a friend of mine kind of show me a lot of the stuff and try and get me to get involved. I kind of just ignored it, and that's obviously to my disadvantage, as we had a serious move up on a lot of those coins, major gains to be had. I just can't be asked. I don't even really like trading altcoins, right? I just leverage trade. So I understand. People are like, oh, I'm making thousands, blah, 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 blah. Percentage, with leverage, you can make insane returns if you know what you're doing and if you're good at it. So I'm kind of happy, doing what I do best. I'm probably being stubborn, and I'm probably being ignorant, not looking into the DeFi shit more, but I just I can only manage so many things at once, and trying to keep track of these DeFi things and altcoins and the stock market and Forex, it just becomes too much, right? Like when I first started trading Forex, when I really started getting good is when I just focused on one pair, right? Because I used to make the mistake where I was following cable, cable, fiber, UJ, pound yen, dollar CAD. I'm covering all these different pairs, Aussie dollar, and it was just too much, right? And so I just dialed it in. I just followed one pair, mastered it, and then I expanded my horizons. And so, yeah, I don't really follow DeFi. So is there any DeFi coins that you would like me to look at? I'm happy to look, but yeah, I don't really look at any. Okay, MTA I'll look at. So do you ever use these methods to scalp? Absolutely. So price action is fractal. Okay, so what I mean by that, and I've talked about that in previous videos, is that the price charts, right? The time frames fold into each other. So it means a few things. Why? It means a few things, right? So what you see here is the daily, is a bunch of green daily candles, okay? But on the 15-minute chart, right? On the 15-minute chart, there's resolution here. So where the daily candle is just this, right? But on the 15-minute, it's up, some sideways, and some up. So when you understand that the daily candle is 24 hourly candles, and the hourly candle is 4 15-minute candles, and you realize that they build upon each other, what you can understand is I can start to see, okay, well, if the daily candle is green, right, I can go on the lower time frame and look for bullish setups in line with the daily candle moving up, right? So knowing that this daily candle is green, I can go in here on the 15-minute and say, okay, well, I've got a SFP here, right? A run on the lows. I'm bullish on the high time frame. I've got a pullback, right? Just like I've showed you on the monthly, right? I've got a low, a high, a pullback, higher low into a bullish order block, and we've got continuation in line with the daily chart. So absolutely this stuff works on the low time frame. The way that you want to scalp is if I'm looking to enter on the 1 minute, the 15-minute, whatever, the 5-minute, I want to know what my daily direction is. So if I'm bullish on the daily, right, when I'm on the low time frame, I want to be looking for bullish setups, and the order blocks, breakers, all that shit works the exact same on the low time frame, and the probability of it working is even better on the low time frame if you're in line with the high time frame, right? So if I'm in line with the high time frame direction, my scalp I take on the low time frame has a better likelihood of playing. Up candle before a down move that takes out lows. It's a bearish order block here. Once we break through, it's a breaker, right? You could be looking to long that pullback there. Stop here, right? Again, still bullish on the daily. We're still bullish on the daily, right? So this entire consolidation, I'm not looking to short. I'm looking to long, right? There's a bullish SFP. Here's a low, right? Here's a high. Here's a higher low. Here's a higher high. What am I looking to do? I'm looking to long a pullback into a bullish order block. Right into your fibs, right into support. Exact same concept, right? And this works on all time frames. The key though is you can't just look at the 15-minute and start buying bullish order blocks. If the high time frame is bearish, 15-minute bullish order blocks are going to get nuked. Some of them might work, but more often than not, they're going to get nuked. So what you want to be looking to do, right, is you want to be looking to find setups that are in confluence with the high time frame, directional bias, order flow, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And yes, you can absolutely use these entry techniques. How I trade is called price action, right? And this shit works on any time frame, but it doesn't work just on one time frame. It works when you layer the time frames on top of each other. So if my entry is on the 5-minute, okay, well, I want to know the direction of the H4. So if I'm expecting the next H4, to be bullish on the 5-minute, I'm looking for longs, and that goes true for exactly what I've been showing you on the high time frame, right? When I'm looking at ETH and I'm looking to enter on the 12-hour, right? I want to know what the 3-day chart is. The 3-day chart is bearish, broke market structure to the downside. So when I'm looking for an entry on the lower time frame here, right, it works because I'm in line with the high time frame directional bias. Again, and I can go like this, right? We're bearish here on the 3-day chart. So any sort of short setup that I see on the 5-minute chart is going to be a higher probability setup, right? And can you see one here? Can you see an entry right here? Right? There's your market structure low. We've now broken market structure to the downside. So where do you go in your head? Sell pullbacks, right? Where do we sell pullbacks to? Well, to your fib, sure. Right? But what always has to line up with the fib? A bearish order block, right? There's a sell, right? Broke market structure again here. Okay. Selling pullbacks. Well, what do you see here? I see a breaker. I don't know if this tags, but it might come close. Down candle before an up move, took out the highs. Trade below, you wait, you wait, you wait. There's your sell. Your stop is above here. You don't care that it comes back here because ultimately, there's your payoff, right? So tested it, came back, tested it again. Your stop is above here. Breaker, right? And if I pull this fib from the parent swing right into your OTE. So absolutely, you can scalp with this shit. Just giving you guys all the sauce today. Sorry I didn't catch your ETH. Can you please just sum it up somehow? I saw that you now said we broke through an order block we tested, so we're going to the local high. Just watch the video, Kareem. You can watch it from the start. This will be on YouTube, so just watch it from the start. Because yeah, I don't want to go over it again for everyone here who just watched, but this will stay on YouTube, so you can just watch it from the very beginning. But thank you for tuning in. 2 hours before would be better. It's 2:50 a.m. here in Poland. Well, what's up, Poland? I don't mind because I'm usually awake at this moment. Okay, well, yeah, I'll consider doing it earlier if that makes sense for enough people. How do you decide your stop loss to avoid SFP or entering a trade through an order block? So getting stopped out is part of the game, right? So you're going to get stopped out. But usually there's a few ways I do it. So let's say we're using this example here. Okay. The tightest stop, right, is right above the order block. Okay, the tightest stop is right above the order block. The more loose stop, right, so this is going to be best RR, but you can occasionally get wicked out. Sometimes it will wick just through the order block and then dump. The looser stop is at the market structure high, right, because market structure is not broken through the order block. Market structure is broken here. So this would be a more conservative stop. The risk reward is going to be less, but you're less likely to get stopped out. Okay, and if let's say we trade up here, right? SFP this level, you get stopped out, but then it closes back below. Well, now you have an SFP. Short it again, stop above the SFP high, right? That's why you aim for asymmetric risk reward, because if I got stopped out, I'm down 1R. I'm back in, it goes 3R. I'm positive 2R at the end of those two trades. So that's why you aim for asymmetric risk reward, because you can have losers. But that would be kind of the easiest way to describe it. Here or at the market structure high. Market structure high, if you're getting stopped out a ton and you're like, well, maybe my stock place is wrong, put your stop at the market structure high, because that is wrong, right? If we go above here, we're going up. I love you too, Lukey Big Knife. Did you learn all your stuff from ICT? I learned a lot from ICT. ICT is definitely one of my main mentors. ICT, Trader SZ, who you guys obviously, I'm sure, follow on Twitter. Learned a ton from him. Tom Dante, learned a ton from him as well. I've done some stuff from Chris Laurie. I've basically studied, a million different, PA, mentors. And then what I've done is just kind of taken what I like from some and just kind of amalgamated it into my own style. And I suggest that's what everyone does. You're never going to just do 100% of what you were taught, right? You need to find what works for you. But a lot of what I do is inspired and learned from ICT. And I've just kind of put my own flavor on it. But a lot of the terminology I use is definitely, his terminology. So much respect to him. Thanks for the free alpha. How do you determine a target trailing stop? So, good question. So I did an entire video on this. Again, if you go back on my YouTube channel, I have like 2 years worth of videos, and one of them I do an entire video on trailing stops. Let's use this entry technique again here. Let's assume we entered here, right? And our stop is above the box. Okay. Where is my first target? Well, if we're bearish, what do I want to see on the low time frame? I want to see this logo, right? I want to see continuation of the trend, right? So that would be my first target. Where do you look for your next target? You look left, right? Next target would be down here. Okay, you look left. You can also zoom out and say, okay, well, on the hourly, right? Where's my high time frame target? The high time frame market structure is here. So ultimately, I want to see this logo, right? And so while you're watching on the low time frame, be aware that you might have a high time frame target. So low time frame there, right? Remembering that my high time frame, right? Because I'm taking my entry on the 5 minutes, but my context is high time frame. We broke market structure on the 3-day chart. So I'm not looking to just exit this right away, right? Ultimately, my high time frame target is way the fuck down there somewhere. I don't know where it went. Sorry. There it is. It's right here. That circle one is the high time frame one. Again, right? So entry is on the low time frame. Low time frame target. First is this little market structure, right? Continuation. Once we break that market structure, it's telling me bearish. We're still bearish. Next would be there, and then my high time frame daily target is there. And as you can see, this plays out all the way down and well below there, right? Now, how can you trail your stop? So look for continuation of market structure. Look left. That's how you pick your targets. right? How do you trail your stop? Well, if you want to trail your stop, what you do is as we break market structure, right? So market structure was wrong here. As long as we're below there, we're bearish. Once we broke low, okay, now you could take your stop down to here, okay? Once we broke this low, you could take your stop to here, but then you get stopped out there, right? But let's say you left your stop here. Once we break this low, a major low, right? You can now take your stop to, right? So once we broke this low, you could take your stop down to there. Once we broke this low, right, which happened you might get wicked out there. I mean, but if let's just, so that is how I trail my stop. Is as long as we're continuing to break markets to the downside, I will just bring my stop down to the next local high. I used to fuck around with trailing my stop a ton. I would trail it down, but I oftentimes got out of positions way earlier than I wanted to, because let's say I'd say, okay, we broke a low here, my stop is now here, I get stopped out here, and then we continue to melt. So more often than not, instead of doing that, what I'll do is I'll take a portion of my trade off here, and then I will just let it ride with my stop at break even. That way I've locked in, it's a risk-free trade. If I come and get stopped out, it sucks, but better chance of me catching that mantra move, right? Because if you're trailing your stop on the 5-minute, but your target's based on the hourly, you might get wicked out like on a move like this before it continues to melt. Another option is just look at the higher time frame, right? So if you're short into this wick here, right? Once we break this major 30-minute swing low, your stop goes here, right? So do you get wicked out there? Maybe not, right? Next major swing low is here. Once we break this major swing low, your stop now comes to the next swing high, right? Once we break another major swing low, stop comes to this high, right? And now you're riding this thing all the way down. And then eventually, maybe you bring your stop down to here, and eventually you get stopped out. So that's one way to do it. Are you related to Gucci Mane? I wish. That is who my name is after. I tried to be Trader Mane, M-A-N-E, but it was taken. There was some guy named Trader Mane, but I got way more popular than him, so fuck that guy, right? Who is ICT? He's the Inner Circle Trader. I don't think he's on Twitter anymore. He's on YouTube, though. Type in The Inner Circle Trader on YouTube. He has a shit ton of free videos with lots of great stuff. In particular, I would check out his Forexmas, Forexmas, M-A-S series. A lot of good stuff there. Can I follow you on Prime? I'm not doing any copy trading on Prime yet. It is definitely something that I'm going to likely start doing, and I will absolutely let you guys know. All right, so it's been about an hour. I know I aim for these videos to be about half an hour, but since I didn't do my metal stream, I wanted to make this one a little bit longer for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. Some good educational content in here for you, as well as some actionable information. Again, if you have any questions, anything you want to know, hit me up in the DMs, leave me a comment. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you know when I'm posting. Give it a like, give the video a retweet, leave me some comments. Also, sign up to Prime. Shout out to them. They're the reason I'm able to put this on for you guys for free. So sign up with my link in the description. Use that main 50 deposit code. You get a 50% bonus on your deposit. So if you deposit 1 Bitcoin, you get half a Bitcoin extra to trade with. Again, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. And we will talk to you all on Twitter, and I will see you next week for another stream. See you later.